Is he still talking about it?
Like, the thing is that, like, yeah, and it's been better though. So really, like, I don't view this as a war against the Middle East. I don't view this as a war against Islam even. A lot of these people that are allied with us are also Islamic. When Iran set off their bombs and they had their crash out at the beginning of this war, the majority of the countries that they bombed were Muslim countries. It's not like they're only, like, it was so stupid. They get bombed by Israel and then they go and bomb Qatar. What
Brilliant.
the f are you doing?
Brilliant. Yeah,
One
they
day,
were
hopefully,
bombing
we'll get along with
American
Iran.
bases. They were bombing American bases, and it was actually a very successful initiative from the Iranian side, considering that, you know, they lost, that the Americans lost the war. These are proxies. You can't have American military bases and launch missiles at a sovereign nation and then not expect to receive retaliation. It's an unbelievably low IQ argument. He missed it. He said some crazy shit while reacting to this video earlier. What did he?
And I want more people to know that. Citizens, then we need to kill people in Hamas. I don't care what happened in 1950. I don't. That's the difference.
Enough. The only way to get to the bottom of this terrorism quandary is to find the inception point. Where does this all begin? And looking at the
Iran, which is the reason why we need to dismantle the IRGC and kill everybody in their leadership and get rid of Iran. And make sure that the Iranian people, by the way...
With what army? With what tools? Bro, this is... You know what's crazy about this analysis? It already ended. Like, Iran won. The United States of America could not withstand the economic damage that Iran was dealing to the rest of the world by shutting off the Strait of Hormuz. That's the reason why there's a memorandum of understanding at play here. And everyone with more than 3 working brain cells recognizes this reality. And Asmongold, on the other hand, is on a copium tour actively denying said reality. But I guess there are plenty of people... There are plenty of people in his audience that are perfectly happy with being lied to, because the alternative would imply recognizing that maybe the American military is not this like omnipotent, super powerful being that can defeat all enemies on a whim. And ironically, right now, as we speak, Iran and America are fighting one another once again. Okay? He couldn't even debunk Noah right after this. It was so pathetic. Keep playing.
The Iranian people, and this is something that we always forget, the support for the Iranian dictatorship or theocracy is under 20%. Less people support the Iranian dictatorship theocracy than supported Maduro when we took him from Venezuela. They're totally oppressed over there, and Iran kills their own people.
Record, the answer is pretty clear. Before Hezbollah existed, Israel invaded Lebanon, killed tens of thousands of people, the vast majority of whom were women and children, directly facilitated the slaughter and rape of thousands of civilians in the Sabra and Shatila massacre, a massacre the United Nations General Assembly declared an act of genocide. Hezbollah was formed in response to this genocidal invasion, as a group resisting it, fighting...
Yeah. The approval rating conversation is really funny because he's a Trump supporter. And the irony is that the IRGC and the Ayatollah and the Islamic Republic has a higher approval rating inside of Iran than Trump does in the United States of America at this point. Trump's disapproval rating is at its highest it has ever been historically. And we know that there is a 30% base of support for the Islamic Republic coming from the hardline Shia population. And that popularity has probably only grown as a consequence of Iran actually fighting back against Israel and the United States of America in defense. There's always a rallying around the flag effect in countries like this when they're being directly bombarded by American and Israeli munitions. So the irony, of course, here is that the Islamic Republic's popularity amongst the masses has probably grown. As a matter of fact, not even popularly, we know that it's grown, given the unbelievable amount of support and all of the mass demonstrations that have taken place. So that doesn't necessarily matter overall, in the justification to explode a country's like leadership, obviously, I don't think Asmongold would be agreeing with the argument that if China decided to assassinate Donald Trump and then said, well, sorry, you're very unpopular. I don't think Asmongold would like that. I don't think anybody would like that. I don't think anybody would be on board with that. That would be a severe violation of international law. And yet America gets to do it because nobody else can say no to the United States of America. And that's like Asmongold's entire argument, right? Might makes right. Well, saying that argument maybe 125 days ago would have made a little bit more sense. Saying that argument in the aftermath of Operation Epstein's Fury is kind of idiotic, because if your whole worldview is law of the jungle, might makes right, America has the power so they can actually enforce their wishes upon other countries, and then other countries actually fight back and win, you can't make that argument any longer. There's a reason why we have to abide by international rules and laws, right? So that, you know, people don't just set off random nukes
to get Israel out of their country. And that's exactly what they did. Before Hamas existed, Israel stole Palestine. Between 1947 and 1949, Zionists...
They did. What do you mean? What? That's not even a retort. Is this how it goes? Is just Asmongold learning facts?
Forces destroyed some 530 villages and about 15,000 Palestinians.
I'm not interested in the sand wars. I don't care about the sand wars. I'm sure there's blood on everyone's hands.
Oh my God, this is the best argument he has. Oh, they're just like sand people fighting one another. Dude, it's so funny when guys who are super edgy have to defend Israel. It's my favorite thing to watch. Okay? Guys who are super duper edgy, who will be like, yeah, based, the Holocaust, Nick Fuentes, based, will then turn around and become the most annoying woke scolds, or the school marms that turn around and tell you like, oh, you can't be saying that. You're defending terrorism. That's illegal. You should go to prison, please. You hurt my feelings. And it's really funny watching Asmongold do a variant of this. I've seen a bunch of these guys do it on Twitter too. Like, there's obviously the Nick Fuentes coalition out there, the Groypers who hate Jews and use the hatred that people have towards Israel to create more enmity towards Jews. But then there's also the super edgy guys who are still very much in line with the Republican Party and its agenda. And those guys will actually, and have actually, for the last 3 years, constantly complained about me and constantly cried about how mean I am and how much I support terrorism. Yeah, the captive dreamer and the BAP sphere. Exactly. The Bronze Age pervert and captive dreamer. And numerous other guys like that, like the Howling Mutant guy. Like all these guys, I thought they were straight up neo-Nazis. And then October 7 happened, and every single one of them was rushing over to defend Israel somehow. And it was shocking to me, because I genuinely thought they would be just like Nick Fuentes. Turns out, no, they were just being edgy while also maintaining a defensive posture of Zionism and everything that Israel was doing. It's very funny.
I care about American interests right now, right here in 2026.
Okay, great. If you care about American interests, especially off the heels of a ginormous defeat that America withstood, America had to eat as a direct consequence of Israel's goading of America into military action, you should be begging to sever ties with Israel. You should be demanding that America punish Israel and maybe even take back some of the tax dollars that we've sent to Israel to the tune of $380 billion over the course of 80 years. But no, you are not saying that, because you're a writer of MAGA, and Donald Trump is obviously in support of Israel. And it seems like you might even be getting paid to defend Israel, because you're defending it like you're getting paid.
All of this historical babble, all of this means literally nothing to me. I care about what is happening right now.
Yeah, what's happening right now is gas prices are on the fritz. There's a massive inflation problem that the American working class is facing. Donald Trump ran on no new wars and started many. including the Iranian war at the behest of Israel. And there it is. You're arguing with an after image Lamau. Buddy, I don't think you can be saying that about Asmongold. I would love to argue with Asmongold in real time, but he actually shits in his diapers every time the thought even comes up. This is all he does.
Were killed in a series of mass atrocities, including scores of massacres. 750,000 Palestinians, over 80% of the Arab population of what became Israel, were ethnically cleansed. This event, the Nakba, and all of
sounds really bad.
The violence in its wake, this is the
It's always like, look at me, I'm so edgy, I'm so sociopathic. It's all vice signaling, right? It's always like, oh, I don't care about these guys dying. I'm cool. It's not like you're a weak person. You're a weak phony, you know? And not only are you a weak phony, but also America's spectacular defeat in broad display of the rest of the world has actually limited American capabilities now. In an irreparable manner, as a matter of fact. It has made it clear to the rest of the world that America is on a downward trajectory. Our force projection capabilities have been eviscerated by a middle power like Iran, a country whose economy we were able to successfully dismantle over the course of the last 47 years. And we did all of that. We threw all of that. We threw all of the billions of dollars in military assets into a trash fire at the behest of Israel. No previous president, regardless of their party identity, had ever done this for the exact same reason why Donald Trump did it and lost. They knew that this would happen, and that's the reason why they were never dumb enough to lean into Benjamin Netanyahu's idiotic posture.
Point. Regardless of the label you use to describe these groups, the moral calculus doesn't change. Resisting invasion, occupation, and genocide through armed struggle is moral and just and legal under international law, and it should not be condemned. Your own personal feelings towards the methods are irrelevant. They do not matter, not when you live in the West and not in Palestine, and especially not when those objections are weaponized as the pretext for genocide, which is what Asmongold...
I don't care what happened in 1950. It doesn't matter to me. What's happening right now is the problem. Whenever Hamas goes into Israel and they kill American citizens, then we need to kill people in Hamas. I don't care what happened in 1950. I don't care what happened in 1970. The moment that you do that, the second that...
What about when Israel kills American citizens? As it has done so on numerous occasions, all the way from USS Liberty down to this past year. There are American citizens trapped in Israeli prisons right now, teenagers, as a matter of fact. What's the argument there? Oh, they're just, they're based. They're doing it in a based way because they're allies. Interesting.
You do that, you are an enemy of the country.
That happened 50 years ago, Hasan. Come on, buddy. I just brought up USS Liberty and then tied it back to Israel currently killing American citizens.
And you need to be annihilated. That's it.
Also, of course he cares about American citizens being killed in the past. That's how he justifies blowing up Iran. Why would we blow up Iran right now? What American citizens have Iran killed in the last, in like the last year, in the last 2 years, before the Operation Epic Fury started? His argument is dependent on minimization, which is why he'll pretend the issue is because of actions in 1970, when the reality is Israel was slaughtering Palestinians in every single year of the past 70 years. And his viewers have to have this misinformed view, or they'll see what the root cause of the issue is.
I don't care about all of your sand war history. I don't care about all of the...
Again, then also leaning into his own personal lack of interest and his own personal idiocy on the matter. Oh, historical context is irrelevant unless I can use a false understanding of history to somehow justify current American military action against Iran. Okay? Yeah. If you don't care about things that happened in the past and you're like, oh, it's just sand wars, why do you care about October 7 then? Why is October 7 a reasonable justification for Israel to do a genocide? Why are you still in support of Israel's genocide if that's the case? Like, what's the timeline? What's the standard? Obviously, there is no consistent standard. He doesn't have any real opinions. He hasn't really thought about this. He's just reacting to the wind. His entire point is to just oppose whatever guys like myself or guys like Noah are in favor of. That's all this is. And also defending the American government's actions unconditionally, even when it actually hurts Americans' interests overall. And the same goes for Israel. What's shocking to me is not that he defends America unconditionally. What's shocking to me is that he actually defends Israel unconditionally. That's the reason why I think there's, foul play here, potentially some moneyed interest at play here.
This context, I don't care about what Israel did in 1951. None of that's relevant to me. If you like these countries so much, go over there and live there. Go live there. But what I'm so tired of and so exhausted from is you have these people who basically are Americans in name only that always take the side against America.
It's really interesting. Being in opposition to the American state is a God-given right held by every American. It's actually un-American to demand no opposition to the American state. As I've made it very clear, my loyalty is with the American working class, is with the American people. I want to do things that improve their lives, that improve all of our lives. Sometimes the American state is at odds with the interests of the American people. As a matter of fact, most of the time, the American state's interests are at odds with the interests of the American working class. You should understand this better than anybody else as a reactionary. When there's a Democrat in charge, you oppose the government, right? You oppose the government unconditionally. You yell about it all the time. You did with Joe Biden. It's not like you were a fan of Joe Biden, right? What are we doing here? Now, of course, because of my consistently held principles, I oppose the Biden administration when it does a lot of things that actually hurt the American working class. And I oppose the Trump administration in the exact same severity, if not even in more severe manners, because the Trump administration is even worse somehow. That's the difference.
These are people that support literal terrorists. Hamas doesn't just simply want...
Yeah. Thought terminating cliche, terrorists, all day, every day. One thing that's true in every country is that the patriots who constantly yammer about the most about how they love their country always hate all the other people in the country. Yeah. A serious country would have already deported these two. Says American as America first. If you're an anonymous patriot that's America first, why do you sound so Israeli? Why is America first so closely associated with Israel first? Interesting.
Israel to leave, they want to kill every single Jew in the world. This entire premise that, Hamas are freedom fighters, well, then if they're such great...
Yeah, that's also the idea that like Hamas wants to kill every single Jew in the world is wrong. It's idiotic. It doesn't even matter.
Freedom fighters, then why are the people from Gaza asking for freedom from Hamas? Maybe there's a problem.
Dude, this is Israeli propaganda, hook, line, and sinker. Oh my God. Every single Palestinian, including those who actually have reasonable disagreements with Hamas, will always tell you that the number one problem that they're facing, understandably, is the Israeli occupation. Okay? Also, Asmongold is supposed to be a guy who actually opposes mainstream media and the propaganda coming from mainstream media. But when mainstream media is doing propaganda straight up out of Tel Aviv, he loves repeating it. Remember when mainstream media was talking about, liberating the Iranian people from the treacherous IRGC? And he was like, we got to liberate the Iranian people. Oh, how quickly he turns around and says, I don't care about these sand wars when it comes to actually, addressing Israel or America's actions. He goes, I don't care about these sand wars. Also, we should liberate the Palestinian people from Hamas. Yeah, liberate them how? By genociding them. And when we talk about that genocide, he goes, I don't really care. Wipe them all out. He is just a edgier, less washed version of Jonathan Greenblatt at this point. He's a skinnier version of Randy Fine at this point. Recently, he called to deport a Muslim American lawyer because she's a foreigner. At this point, Twitch can just unban Nick Fuentes. Don't say that, because Twitch will unban Nick Fuentes.
Should concern everybody.
I have no interest in hearing about my constitution from a foreigner who should not even be in my country. If you think that Thomas Jefferson and George Washington would even allow you on the TV to talk about this in the first place, you're out of your fucking mind.
In this country.
Based. Go back to your country, complain there. All J6 protesters were patriots. They're on my side, so I want them free, and I want all my enemies jailed unfairly. Shut it, fatty. She sounds nervous even talking about this. Go back to your country, complain there. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson would probably get one-shotted by the concept of a television, but
in the direction that it is taking us.
Yeah, not your country, this country, my country. Go home. Go home, get the fuck out. That's what I think.
Please, treason hanging. Trump, a rich man who came to terrorists, wait till they see what a poor man will do to them. My boys would have been dropping bodies a long time ago. America's a melting pot. Well, that's interesting that this guy said that. This whale needs investigating for aiding. She's lucky she even has a voice. Omegalol. Fatty. I don't want to hear about the Constitution from a hog is what I think. Why is a Muslim legal fund defending terrorists in the USA? Based. I don't think anyone died in the attack, but an officer got shot in the head. Thanks for speaking the truth. Based. Want a blanket bitch who look cold.
Look fat. Yeah, this is you for or against America. State your position. Yeah, this is it. And I'm very and look how scared they are. Look how terrified they are that this is happening. They can.
Yeah, I wonder why someone whose entire job is to, defend American citizens would be worried about tremendous government overreach that is directly a violation of the First Amendment that will then illegally prosecute and throw the book at one of the 9 defendants for simply holding a box of magazines. And not like ammunition, I'm talking like actual zines, okay? Zines, like the written literature. One of the 9 people literally got 30 years in prison for that. That should be terrifying to you if you're an actual American citizen and not someone who hates America. If you care about the Constitution, this should be a terrifying prospect for you too, you idiot. A government that does that to anyone can do that to you as well. And one day they will. You just don't think this government will ever do it to you. He said the government should have killed them.
Conspired and attempted to kill a federal officer. They were found guilty by 12 jurors beyond a reasonable doubt. And not to mention the fact that a bunch of the defendants literally admitted that it was an Antifa terror cell that was planning on killing.
Yeah, all this is bought. Anyway, where were we?
Problem here.
We're watching this.
Maybe there's something wrong. And to be honest with you, while I can commiserate with them, it's fundamentally not my problem. What they do over in Palestine,
Dog, Israel doesn't do any of this without American tax dollars, okay? And not only that, but Israel also violates your constitutional laws in the state that you're in, the state of Texas. I communicated this to Asmongold the last time he actually had a conversation with me in real time. He obviously did not like that experience so much because he felt like it was a lecture. He felt like he was learning things, and perhaps even worse, his audience was learning the truth. Do you remember when I talked to him after his anti-Palestinian statement, which he received a ban for when he justified the genocide of the Palestinians by claiming that they were barbaric? I told him about anti-BDS measures. Okay? I told him that in his own state that he's lived in his whole life, in Texas, that in order to be a public school teacher, you have to sign a loyalty pledge to the state of Israel. This is a direct violation of the First Amendment. And he was like, wow, that's shocking. I didn't know that that happened. I can't believe it. That's actually something that I oppose. Don't you think that that's significant? That's an American problem. That's not just sand wars happening over there. That's happening over here. It's happening in your backyard. It's happening to you. It's happening to your neighbors. Nothing that Israel does alone. Without the United States of America's unconditional loyalty and support, Israel wouldn't be able to do the violent things that it does. Israel wouldn't be able to conduct a genocide. And not only that, but if you think differently than the American State Department, Israel will demand you get punished. And this current administration will do it at the behest of a foreign nation state.
They do in Israel, what they do in Lebanon, is only in the purview of American interests to the extent that it affects us. If they want to fight and have battles and wars and civil wars and everything, that's totally up to them.
How the fuck does this guy get views? He's not very intelligent and he's very hateful. And there are a lot of people who are who live in like similar conditions to him, who have similar attitudes to him, and they want to hear someone else with a large enough platform that's basically spitting back the same thought-terminating cliches so they can feel as though there is a sense of community there. One that they can't receive in the real world, because like this kind of sentiment in broad daylight would be received, would receive a lot of backlash. Like a lot of normal people would, if normal people in the real world heard you talk like Asmongold, they'd be like, what the f are you saying, dude? So these guys just congregate on the internet and fester in their own hatred. So at least there's that. Like, think about what I do versus what Asmongold does. Like, can you imagine Asmongold going out at the behest of a political movement, organizing, getting people elected on the platform that he preaches? No. I mean, Asmongold doesn't have a true ideological perspective anyway. He's a pure reactionary, only self-interested, nothing else. Nick Fuentes is a version of Asmongold that actually does have a political vision, an agenda, a clear-cut goal of what he wants to turn America into. So that's even a better example on the opposing side, right? Look at Nick Fuentes' movement and look at what we've been able to do. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is Asmongold's audience, right? Okay, guys. A person who says unbelievably hateful things, and then we look back at their point of view and we realize that, you know, there's a reason for all of that sadness. Not realizing that watching Asmongold and festering in all that hatred and enmity is probably hurting his chances of recovery. But yeah, bleep. Just followed Hasan so I can call him a, what is this? Censored. Something in 24 hours. I'm stoked, boys. Did you see the fighter jet that got shot down over Iran? The pilot saw alien drone swarm before ejecting. Pentagon released the info yesterday. I always wonder why, like, certain like identifiable silly stories that come out of the Pentagon, like who that's for. And now I'm seeing it in real time. I'm still here, bro. 9 hours. Islam. Muslims make it dangerous, dumb. R word. That's it. Be nice to Muslims so maybe they'll stop kids. Make amazing sense. I'm a father and a U.S. Marine, and I'm so depressed I want to kill myself on Father's Day because my family and child hate me. I hate me, but I'd rather watch Zach Rar and die later. Yeah. If you're wondering what the mindset of like a regular Asmongold viewer is, it's that. That's Asmongold's demographic. If you're truly wondering what the mindset is of a guy who just like sits around in Asmongold's chat and says like, yeah, base, kill all the Muslims or whatever. That's it. That's what it is.
But fundamentally, the focus needs to be on American interests. And right now, American interests are not in the best interest of allowing these terrorist cells to continue operating. We have to spend billions of dollars every single year to create countermeasures for Iranian terrorism by proxy.
Anyway. So yeah, it's just, that is what it is. I wish these people well, because I mean, even from a point of self-interest, I feel like if they were doing better overall, they probably wouldn't be so hateful and wouldn't be spreading such odious ideology all around the internet. But I wish them well on its own virtues as well. I don't want anyone to feel like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, here's Asmongold's reaction to teachers signing papers to defend Israel. Family members that are school teachers, you have to sign a piece of paper that says you will never participate in boycotting or demanding sanctions or demanding divestment from the state of Israel.
Holy, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh my God. What a joke. I never heard of that.
So
that's so stupid.
So that paired up with the new...
I mean, like, no, here's the thing, right? That's terrible. You're totally right.
Yeah.
That's all, like, I mean, because, yeah.
This is why he doesn't want to have a conversation, by the way. This is why he's terrified of having a conversation. He's terrified of, you know, being forced to agree with me, because he's always like performing a certain role. Banning congressional stock trading.
Yes.
Yep. Ending America's war on Iran.
And these are easy. Yep.
Ending America's embargo on Cuba.
Nope.
Yep.
Ending aid to Israel.
Yep.
Ending aid to Israel. I don't know about
A
that.
free Palestine. Why? Yeah, I don't know about that. Even his audience is minus 7K.
Of course.
No thoughts about that?
Okay.
Sus. It's like Van Jones doesn't want to talk to you? Yeah. Well, maybe one day we'll talk to Van Jones. Who knows? He needs an intervention. I mean, sure, but it's not going to happen. The intervention will come eventually when his audience actually wisens up to what he's doing. Given how much they love his unlimited racist agitprop, they're too busy focusing on how much they hate, just like Asmongold, trans people and whatnot, to recognize how much pro-Israeli propaganda Asmongold engages in.
Are supporting terrorism when you say stuff like this. I personally don't think he'll do that, but, you know, I figured I'd ask anyways, just in case. Stranger things have happened. But anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Join my Patreon if you...
Yeah, great video from Noah. Let's see, since recently Asmongold watched it. Now do Hasan. Weird, you don't have one of these with Hasan with the same title name. These guys have nothing. All they have, Base Roach King, Cry Harder, Tankies. Why do you hand Asmongold free wins, sire? All bots. They got nothing. They go but Hasan. That's it.